it is what it is in a way. Uh, so right now we need to we're kind of evaluating that. But the trial continues. It's just delayed as we look
Sure.
to get to make sure we have, you know, data, good or bad. And so far we don't have an indication either way, other than the work
Okay.
we've done before.
And you touched on the difference between CC42344 and drugs like Tamiflu or Xofluza. Could you just briefly summarize the differences again?
Yes, so those have been out on the market. I can't, speak to how they developed them or whatnot. Tamiflu's been around for a long time. It's a multi-billion-dollar drug still, and it's not even on patent anymore. Um, so we developed this drug. The key again is to hit that, essential area in the replication, because even the new guys on the block, Xofluza that came out of Shionogi out of Japan, is already seeing issues with the virus mutating around it. So it's kind of fallen a little bit flat, I guess you could say, on the market because of that. Tamiflu still continues to this day to be a billion-dollar market. So if you come out with a good therapeutic where, if people start to get sick, they can take a drug, and it works because as I said a million times already, you hit this area where it can't mutate and it works. You're gonna have a very strong product. It's gonna add a lot of shareholder value to the company. So, in summary to your question, it's because there's been mutations around those drugs and they're
Okay.
not as effective as they should be.
And just in the interest of time, can you lay out some milestones or accomplishments that we can anticipate for the remainder of the year?
So we are looking to go get the data on that norovirus with this challenge model that we're planning to start this year. And the data will come out early next year, but just having that get started this year and start to get some data on that will be big. We have begun working our consultant group that fills out these complex applications and everything with the like the NIH and BARDA and groups like that. We're starting to see some movement with that, and so we could have some news on that. We are talking to other companies about just working with them and co-developing some of these. Still a little early. I don't think there may be some news this year, perhaps. Uh,
Great.
that's all I can think of right now. And there's always some good news popping up with us. I mean,
Yes, there. I agree with you. You have had unexpected good news periodically over the years. So with that, I'd like to thank you very much for joining us. And anyone who has follow-up questions can contact either myself at Noble or Jim at CoCrystal. Thank you.
yep. Thank you. Bye bye.
Is the fabric of our business. As mentioned previously, we are one of the leading gaming company in the sandbox survival genre with more than 100 million installs. Highly engaged user over the past 10 years, which Peter will provide you with more in-depth explanation. We own a transmedia IP that crosses gaming and TV. We publish our games across a majority of all platforms: Steam, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, Epic Game Store, iOS, Android, and also on Paramount Plus for our animated series. We also have a strong executive team with a clear strategic and tactical plan to profitability expansion. Last but not least, we're truly excited about this that we are paving a path to a digital assets future with stable coins. Now, I would like to pass on to Peter to go over some of our analytics.
Wonderful. Thank you, Heidi, for the overview. Now, before we dive into our analytics, I want to take a step back and look at the gaming market as a whole to provide some context. Now, Newzoo, the industry-leading analysis firm, expects the industry to grow close to $200 billion by 2027, reaching about 4 billion players. Now, putting that into context of today's population, that's half of the world's population that will be playing games. Now, that said, our Temple IP ARC has amassed 90.5 million gamers. Despite having a large gamer base, we have a strong conviction that we can grow into the 4 billion player base. We have a historical performance that supports that, and we strongly believe that we as Snail will be able to achieve that. Now, I want to share the performance of our franchise over the years. There are two perspectives I want to illustrate here for the success of the franchise. One is that we have grossed close to $1 billion in gross revenue. And two, the large install base of 100+ million of base game and DLCs contributed to 4.1 billion playtime hours. And of course, we have reached the peak of 1.1 million daily active users in June 2022, which is a significant feat. Now, I talked about highly engaged users and how well ARC franchise has performed over the past 10 years. I really want to understand our user base a little bit more. Thus, I took a deep dive into what our user engagement looked like. Now, on the left, what you're seeing there is that 42% of our gamer base are considered as highly engaged gamers. Now, that's 42%. These gamers contributed to 380 hours on average per gamer. Now, that's a pretty significant feat, right? So let me put that into perspective for you. Ubisoft released Assassin's Creed Shadows a few months back. The playthrough of that game from beginning to end is about 90 hours. Our highly engaged gamers play 4 times that amount. What you see to the right is the daily active user and concurrent user. And the important takeaway from that is from day one, back in 2015 to today, our daily active user and concurrent users that we observe online has been very, very consistent. And that really truly speaks to the replayability of the game and how fun the game really is. Now, I've talked about the revenue side of things, how and our user engagement. I want to wrap all of that up for you in this quarterly chart. What you're seeing here is the quarterly revenue from Q3 of 2023 to Q2 of 2025. And whenever there's an ARC-related release, be it the remake in Q4 of 2023 or any of the DLCs that we have released, our quarterly revenue has improved quarter over quarter. More importantly, what I've discovered through analytics is that our DLC conversion it sits at 54%. So if you think of in a different context, 1 in 2 ARC gamers will likely buy one of our DLCs. And this 54% conversion is very important to us. It helps us inform our future DLC release strategies and monetization. Historically, we have released full-size DLCs that include maps, new skins, new features, new items. It's a really massive DLC, downloadable content, right? Content that can be played up above the base game, on top of the base game. So how we think about the future is that we will continue to develop the full-size DLCs, and plus bite-sized DLCs that require less development time, lower cost, and higher profitability. Now, with that, I'd like to pass it back to Heidi to go over our future growth strategies.
Thank you, Peter. So how do we grow? We define our strategy into 3 pillars. First is through what we're good at, gaming expansion. Keep building on the existing IPs, new DLCs, and also licensing new IPs. Explore into different genres, diversify our gaming portfolio. Second pillar is through our profit expansion, improve profitability with strategy cost control. Last but not least, we're truly excited for this one. We will be the first gaming company to issue stablecoins with a deep integration with Snail Games ecosystem. Now, let's take a look at how can we build on the existing IPs and diversify our gaming portfolio. We are excited to share that we have a robust release slate ahead. drawing from both our internal teams and also external partners. On the top are the major releases from our internal studios. As you can see, we have one major RDLC releasing in late 2025 and 2 new IP releasing in 2026, and which are internally developed. On the bottom are the games that we have acquired through licensing agreements, which our gaming partner license game that can cost anywhere between $50,000 to $1.5 million. And once the game is launched, we will do a revenue sharing with the studios. We anticipated to have about 9 releases in 2025, led by the notable 2 are Echoes of Elysium and also Honeycomb. As you saw on the previous slide, we have several exciting releases coming from our internal studios. To deliver the high-quality entertainment our users expect, we have been ramping up our development capacity. Our presence in the EU continues to grow, driven by a strong talent pool and favorable cost dynamics. In addition, we're leveraging third-party development teams through strategic partnership to further support our ambitious pipeline. All right, now let's move on to pillar number 2, profit expansion. We run the company with a lean, efficient setup, keeping things tight on the cost side. Since Q1 of 2024, we've been putting more focus on our own internal R&D, especially around game development. We are really leaning on the experience and leadership of our gaming team to build titles that can drive strong revenue growth. To stay profitable, we're smart about that. We outsource some of the development work so we don't overbuild our internal team. Plus, we keep a close eye on R&D and also marketing needs to make sure that they stay aligned with our game development plans. It's all about staying focused and efficient while we're growing as well. Now, from a revenue standpoint, when we talk about profit expansion, our biggest goal is to take the art franchise from just being a transmedia IP and turn it into a full-blown pop culture brand. We really believe R2 is the key to make that happen. With R2, we're blending the open world survival gameplay fans already love from ASE and ASA. But this time, we're layering in a rich story-driven narrative. That mix is going to help us to reach way beyond just survival game fans. Onto stablecoins. I would like to take a moment to provide an overview of the stablecoin market. What is stablecoin? A stablecoin is a type of cryptocurrency designed to maintain a stable value by being pegged a reserve assets, typically in the US dollar. Stablecoin was first introduced around 2019, and it took off significantly in 2022 because they became the preferred safe harbor in the turbulent crypto and micro environment. Today, there is a supply of approximately 170 billion. This figure is expected to reach 1.4 trillion by 2030. More recently, the US government has passed the Genius Act. This act is viewed by many as a pathway to support and foster innovation in the stablecoin market. With regulatory clarifying and also use case expansion, we truly believe this is a moment for Snail to get into the space. We wanted to become the first gaming company to issue stablecoins. To that end, we have initiated a capital formation strategy tied directly to the stablecoin project. We've also retained crypto experts and also leveraged in-house talent to accelerate our entry into the space. So what does all this mean to Snail? We wanted to build an industry-first rewards ecosystem that ties gaming and crypto. It will look something like it could be a gamer could interact with our games, and we could be in a rewarding system. And imagine that currently we have over 90.5 ARK franchise gamers that we could eventually build that into our stablecoin project. With that, I would like to take you back to our Fabric success one more time. And this concludes our presentation for today. And Michael?
All right. Thank you, Heidi. Heidi, I want to go back to one of the charts that you actually had in your presentation where you were talking about your lean and efficient structure. And I was wondering if you can share a little bit more details about the company's development cost, particularly in relation to your R&D initiatives. How do those efforts contribute to your innovation and growth? And how does it affect the year-over-year profitability of the company?
Good question, Michael. And as we continuously working to further diversify our gaming portfolio, from 2024 through 2025, we've signed more than 10 different publishing IPs, which we funded the studio upfront development costs. And these games are still in the early stage and has not reached our internal capitalization policy. And because of that, we have to expense that cost on our financial statement. And once the game is released, other than the maintenance and also the technical support that the studio has to support, there won't be any significant cost incurred, and there's no license fee because all the cost is already funded. And further, as we mentioned in the presentation, we also have internally developing the games, for example, for the stars that we mentioned, and also 9 Citra in model, and which is done by internal team plus our external partners and contractors. We're actively working on these games, and until the game reaches our technological feasibility, we will have to expense that and bear the cost on our current operation, which also means that when the game is launched, there's no other licensing costs that we will have to handle.
Gotcha. And then, the company has been pretty innovative in looking for other growth venues. And you recently launched in short form video content as a part of your broader growth strategy. And I was wondering if you can discuss the rationale behind getting into this video initiative and how does that support the company's objectives, particularly as you look at marketing, user engagement, and content monetization.
Thank you, Michael. Modern entertainment consumption that it is increasing overlapping between gaming, streaming, and also social media. And by entering into the short video space, we wanted to broaden our presence with digital entertainment value chain, transforming not just a gaming publisher, but also to a broader content platform that can capture more user attention and also engagement. Further, as the boundary between gaming and social entertainment continues to blur, having a presence in short video business helps us to position ourselves into the next generation entertainment brand, offering both interactive and passive experience under one ecosystem. And last but not least, short video offers multiple monetization opportunities as well through advertising, digital goods, and also diversify our company's revenue base beyond just gaming revenue.
And it seems to me like stablecoin is a natural extension for the gaming industry. I was wondering if you can talk a little bit about your diversification efforts into stablecoin, and if you can explain the strategic motivation for this initiative and how it aligns with the company's long-term vision, the digital ecosystem, and the financial innovation strategy.
Of course. And as the company's decision to enter into the stablecoin sector reflects a strategic step to broaden our digital capability and support the evolving needs of our ecosystem. We recently, in July of 2025, the government has passed the Genius Act. There is now a clear regulatory guidance governing the issuance and operation of the stable coins, which allows companies like us to participate in this area with a greater compliance certainty and also risk management. As I mentioned earlier in the presentation, we actually engage a consultant that is assisting us. We're also having an internal compliance officer as well, making sure that, we're in full compliance and following the regulation. And given our experience managing digital transaction and virtual economies within games, stablecoin technology can serve as an infrastructure layer that supports more efficient and transparent digital interactions, whether that's for the payment, settlement, or other ecosystem-related functions. This intend not to change the company core business as a game developer and a publisher, but to evaluate how financial and technological innovation can complement our existing ecosystem under the clear legal and operational framework.
Gotcha. And Heidi, we have just a couple of questions out here. I was wondering if you can talk about the stablecoin issuance timeline. Is there something that is expected to take place in 2026?
We are currently internally working on building the infrastructure internally with our internal engineers and also the team. We're hoping to launch that as soon as possible. But of course, before we launch that, we have to make sure everything is in full compliance because it's not something that is we could launch. We want to make sure that we're in full compliance with all the laws and regulations and passing all the state requirements as well. So we're hoping in the very near future, we'll be able to launch that.
And a few of these questions that coming in from investors have already been addressed, but here's a couple. Could you talk about the Bellwright release on Xbox? When is that expected?
The team from our subsidiary in Poland is actually actively working on porting the game from to Xbox. We're currently, the team is still working on that. We're hoping in the next few months, and hopefully in the next few months, we'll be able to have that release on Xbox.
And then another question here. Could you talk about ARC, the animated series, and benefits from the show, improved exposure, new gamers, etc.?
So for the animated series, is actually we launched the animated series on Paramount. I believe it was last year that we launched that on Paramount. We still have a series that we have not launched it yet. We're hoping that, other than getting the gaming user or gamers, we also wanted to capture audience from, from household, from watching TV that, from our fans, not just playing games, but also from a other entertainment, watching TV or that they could be knowing of our game.
And I think you've already addressed this question, but I'm going to ask it and see if you want to add any additional color. But what drove the decision to get into stablecoin industry?
Well, the majority of the reasons because we know now with more clear guidance and regulation, we as a company we've been in this virtual currency for many years because majority of our mobile gaming are actually dealing with virtual currency in that purchase with coins, gold coins. But now with the stable coin is we see that stable coin could be a payment transmitter system, but also have being a game developer and also a publisher, we wanted to connect the two together and be able to utilize stable coin as whether it is a payment transmitter system or as a rewards program to our gamers, or as once there are more guidance from the platform, able to utilize that in the gaming side as well.
Well, that is all the time we have for questions. Heidi and Peter, I greatly appreciate your time today. And again, I wanted to remind all the viewers today that I would really encourage you to take a look at our research on the company, and all that research is available to you on channelcheck.com. Thank you again, Heidi and Peter. Have a great day.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
Nations I don't know how they screwed this up. They let some of these, they approved locations that were within a